everyone, welcome back to Coach Hall Writes. Now, at the time I'm filming this, it's just a few days away from the 2022 AP Lang exam. So if you're trying to cram, I've got a few tips for you to help you maximize your score on test day. Now, this is going to come across as a shameless plug, and I'm sorry about that, but I do sincerely believe that one of the best ways to study for the exam is to use both the Coach Hall Writes and Garden of English videos. Tim Friedis of the Garden of English is a good friend of mine, and he and I are actually teaming up on Monday, May 9th, which is the night before the exam, over on lighthall.co. We're going to be doing a review session where we answer any and all student questions about the exam. So if you're interested in that, then please check out the description box below. We both also have playlists on our channels, so if you're looking for something specific, then definitely go check out each of those playlists. Also, if you want some extra tips, please go follow Coach Hall Writes over on TikTok. I post additional content over there. Something else that you can do to cram for the exam is to practice a timed essay. This is especially important if you're worried about your pacing or if you just haven't written a whole lot of essays in class. I recommend using relatively recent prompts for this. So go ahead and search for AP Lang past exam prompts, and then choose a prompt from approximately 2018 to 2021. There are plenty of older prompts out there, and some of them are pretty good. I do use some of them in my classroom, but there are several that I feel are not quite in line with the current direction that the College Board is going with this class, and therefore they might not be as useful. So the ones from 2018 to 2021 are good ones to practice with. Now, depending on which essay you're doing, I would recommend different timing options. So if you decide to practice a synthesis essay, I would recommend spending about 50 to 55 minutes on it because you also have to read and annotate the sources before you write. For rhetorical analysis, I would recommend spending between 40 and 45 minutes on that. And then for argument, approximately 35 to 40 minutes. You could do one essay, or if you want to really practice, you can do your own mini mock exam where you do 2 or even all 3 essays in one sitting. If you do a timed write, treat it like the exam. So you're going to want to underline the task or prompt to really make sure that you're actually addressing what the prompt is asking. Annotate your sources or passages, make a really quick outline just so you have a plan. And then focus on developing your paragraphs. I've said this in so many other videos, but honestly, a quick introduction is all you need. And technically speaking, if you're running out of time, you don't need a conclusion. You also want to practice by writing with pen and use lined paper because that's kind of like what you'll get on the exam. I know a lot of students prefer to type their essays, but honestly, if you're trying to practice and simulate the test, then use lined paper and a blue or black ink pen. Something else that you can do is read the sample essays and scoring commentaries. The current AP Lang rubric that has 6 points is relatively new, but the College Board did go back and take some essays from 2018 and 2019 and rescore them with that 6-point rubric. So if you're looking at essays from 2018 or 2019, make sure you're looking at the ones that are typed up and they have the 6-point rubric. The College Board puts the student samples and the scoring commentaries in separate documents now. They didn't used to do that. It used to be on one doc. So you're going to want to look at both. You're going to want to look at the student sample essay and also the scoring commentary to see what score it got and why. If you've decided to write an essay, it can be a really good idea to compare your work to the ones that the College Board provides. That way you can see approximately where you think you would score in line with the student samples. Now, if you decide not to write an essay, it's still a good idea to look at these sample essays and scoring commentaries because it helps you understand what AP readers are looking for. I recommend looking at the essays that score a 4 out of 6 or higher. Sometimes I'll show my students the 3 out of 6 essay. We'll look at that one and the 4 out of 6. That way they can see the difference in the level of expectation. But that being said, for exam day, I recommend students try to aim for a 4 out of 6 or higher on their essays. So really pay attention to those body paragraphs and the evidence and commentary to see how those students who wrote those essays earned those points. And just a quick tip in case you're having trouble finding the sample essays or scoring commentaries, usually if you type it into a search bar, it's pretty easy to find if you type in something like 2021 AP Lang Q2 sample essays and then 2021 AP Lang Q2 scoring commentaries. In addition to FRQs, there's also a multiple choice portion of the exam. That's actually the part that you're going to do first on exam day. So if you're trying to practice for the multiple choice section, there are some review videos on AP Classroom that take you through official College Board questions. If your teacher has given you access to other materials on AP Classroom, such as progress checks or other quizzes, those can be helpful as well. Now, if you're looking to do a practice test on your own and you don't have access to AP Classroom, then definitely look into the free practice test for AP Lang from Marco Learning. Another free option would be to use the SAT or ACT release tests. Personally, I tend to use the SAT to help students study for AP Lang, but I do think there's similarities to the ACT as well. Now, keep in mind, you're not going to be looking at all questions. If you're trying to practice for the reading test, then look at the nonfiction passage. And I would avoid the passages that have the double passage on the SAT or the ACT because I don't think the College Board would do that on the AP Lang test. They're also not going to include fiction, so you don't need to look at those passages either. Now, if you're looking to prepare for the writing multiple choice, you can either look at the SAT writing and language section or the ACT English section. But again, you're not going to be looking at all questions. You want to prioritize the questions that have a question stem. This means that there is an actual question above the answer choices. So it might say something like, the writer wants to add the following sentence, should they do so? The other questions on the SAT and the ACT, the ones that test your understanding of commas, dashes, colons, verb tense, pronoun antecedent agreement, those are all great to practice for the ACT or the SAT, but those are not actually on the AP Lang writing multiple choice questions. So I would ignore those for now if you're just trying to study for AP Lang. My students tell me that the essay they hate the most is the argument essay because there is no passage. They have to rely on their own knowledge. So one thing you might want to do if you're cramming for the exam is focus on refreshing your memory about topics that you already know well. Don't go out there and try to learn new content, but instead focus on historical figures or events, current events, sports, whatever it is that you know well. If you're studying for other AP exams, like maybe APUSH or AP World, then chances are you probably have historical knowledge that you could bring to the table. If you're looking for a way to organize your thoughts, then check out the Q3 database that I linked in the description. This link will give you your own copy of an assignment that I give my students to help them prepare for the exam. All right, there you have it. Those are my 5 tips to help you cram for the AP Lang exam. Make sure that you are following here on YouTube and also on TikTok. And please check out the description box below. There you will find links to the different events that I mentioned and different handouts. That way you can study more effectively. Best of luck on the exam. And as always, until next time, happy writing.